Okay, I think we can start them. So welcome everyone on today's Metal3 community meeting. Today is the first community meeting of 2026. So happy New Year to everyone. And I think we can continue with the same way as we did in the past years. I think we can skip introductions because there are no new participants, if I remember the names correctly. But if there are, please don't be afraid to mention it. Let's go with the reminders. So please note that the meeting is recorded. If you want to help the project with contributions, then feel free to push issues or pick up any of the help wanted issues that exist already. You can filter for help wanted by either using the link in the document and the meeting notes document, or by recreating the same filter that you can see here on the screen, and by either making good first issues or like sending in good first issues or resolving these issues. You would help the project a lot, and also same for the help wanted issues or issues that have the help wanted label. If you feel that your organization would be okay publicly disclosing that you are an adopter or user of the Metal3 project, then you can do that by editing the adopters.md file in the root of the community repository that's part of the Metal3 organization. And you just have to follow the example of the others and add the one line about your project and organization, and the same way as the others have done before you. And by doing that, you would help the project a lot. And if you feel that you are running into CI problems, tests are failing on your pull requests that are not related to your change, then please create an issue in the affected repository and then assign that issue to the Metal3 CI tracker project on the issue creation page on the right hand side under the projects section. And these are the general reminders. And then if you are interested about any other statistics or documents or discussions, then please visit the main page of the Metal3 GitHub organization or the website, or write to the mailing list, or check out this meeting notes with the links. Okay, that's the gist of it. I think we will again skip Leonard's topic that we are carrying from the MTM because he is not present, so he cannot speak for himself and explain his idea. So let's go and continue with the community working group updates. I see that Dimitri has an update from the Iron Scalability group.
Yeah, what's up, folks? I have been working on, as you know, an asynchronous collection for sensor data, which is this Prometheus integration that recently landed in Ironic standalone exporter, but also with the aim of potentially asynchronizing more parts of Ironic if this experiment works out. So this is a design proposal, basically parallel to design proposals we do in Metal3 docs. If you don't know, like we call specs in Ironic. That's work in progress, but it already has a motivational section and part of the proposed change. So if you're curious about this topic, if you know a thing or two about Python or have opinions about threading and asynchronously, feel welcome to jump in. You'll need an account on Gary to comment, but you also can relay your comments to me if you don't want to bother with that. Otherwise, it's hopefully coming to Ironic at some point, and maybe then we improve our power sync loop in a similar fashion.
Sounds great. Any comments from anyone or questions? Okay, if not, then I think The other three groups have not much. I have not seen any discussion in the IP building pipeline, although I have seen one pull request that, or not pull request issue, that was half bug report, half question about why we don't have better documentation about customizing the IP and using it in different type of deployments like DHCP and whatnot. That might ties into this one. I might link that here, but yeah, not much to mention here other than this pipeline. What this discussion talks about does exist partially already. I think I might have even linked here, yeah, the draft PR. So I will pick this up again at some point, and you can read about this IPA pipeline in that discussion, and we can discuss it. I'm interested to push that forward. Okay, any other comments, questions for the working groups or related to the working groups? Okay, then we can continue with the release team and the roadmap. As far as I know, the 1.12 was released, right?
Yeah, am I audible, Adam?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Yeah. I think just before the holidays we released release 1.12, capacity and IPAM, and 0.12 for BMO. Yep. That's like now it's like in 1.13 release cycle has already began.
Yeah. Thanks, Sunat. Would you please put the links here into this one, and then I will change to the next release cycle in the template. So could you please put the links in this note?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yep, thanks. And I will change this one to 13 because we then start the new cycle. And thanks for everyone who contributed either with issues, discussions, pull requests, or by participating in any of the groups like release team and the working groups. Okay, I think we don't have any topics for the named groups, so we can continue with discussion topics. And I see agenda points only from Serhi.
Yeah, hi folks. I think mine will be pretty short. The first one is basically, I think it's kind of lost in the PR list. You got approval, so it's documentation part of annotation change that already is merged. Basically, I think we should just like merge it. No other issues are there. And the second one is about blog post that Dimitri wanted to have, basically. I think Dimitri with us now. I mean, did you have time to like look at the recent changes that I proposed? Maybe reiterate on that.
My apologies, I haven't seen the next revisions. We're doing a lot of stuff here nowadays. I see if I can get to it today, otherwise it will have to be next week. But honestly, it's not something only I can review. It's just I
Yeah,
really
sure. I
welcome
mean,
anyone to do that.
I'm highlighting you because you were the first one to read it through in fully, right? So I addressed your changes. I mean, I don't see it's kind of a major thing to merge right now. We can like, if it takes time to merge, it's fine. We just need to like have optimistic date. My optimistic date is February, I guess, for a post.
Okay. From my perspective, both of these are fine. I will review them, but I don't think there is much to disagree or discuss about this. And thanks for bringing these up. And is there anyone who has questions or comments related to any of these two PRs? Okay. If nothing, then I will bring up a topic. I don't see the person who was most interested about this, but this is just like a initial discussion. We don't really have a how to say, like a convention or rules about squashing commits, and there have been some feedback from contributors that we are a bit too strict with requesting commit squashes. I know that we generally follow the Kubernetes way of doing it, and Kubernetes has have an explicit but still quite flexible way of doing it, and it's written down, and that's all good. But I think it's time that we will put it into writing that we follow that, and then what that entails, so that we don't automatically ask for squashing commits. Because after some discussion with contributors, yeah, it might be that we were a bit overzealous with that. So, is there anyone who has a problem with not just automatically asking for like is there anyone who would like to enforce the acceptance of only squashed PR? So meaning that there is only one commit in the PR. Is there anyone who would like to enforce that? Okay.
I'm against enforcing this, to be clear. Of course, a lot of meaningless commits is a bad idea, but also sometimes pull requests are large, and I'd rather have people split them over separate commits that make sense than just squash and let me review thousands of lines of code. So I think it's really like use your common sense sort of guidance has to be put in place with each commit, regardless of it's in the same PR or a different PR, has to be self-contained. It has to have good description, it has to make sense. And if so, related commits could be grouped in a single PR, if that makes sense again. Could you propose separately if it does not, but please know stuff like fix unit tests, fix docs again. These sort of things have to be squashed, not just general info.
I want to a bit expand on this. Sometimes it makes sense to actually have those kind of fix commits in their story, because it's easier for a reviewer to see a change. What I think we should have is opt-in option to squash merge like PR. So when you go into a merging button, you just change the way of strategic merge, so all the changes will be squashed in one commit instead of forcing all the time the rebasing. Because like if you have like a feature that's kind of heavy on lines and have a heavy review there, and you need to squash everything every time, that review will take like plus half year from a start. I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree with you folks.
I think I would rather maybe lean towards what Dimitri suggested. I will still want to keep it on the author's discretion. Then what type of or how many comments do we have, rather than like making it automatic while merging, but rather than deciding on these units of work that we would have in one PR. So there is no right answer to like if and when a PR should have multiple commits or not. It's just like common sense, as Dimitri said. But if and when a maintainer is asking about squashing commits, I think it's just to make sure that the merge history is not populated with unnecessary. That's the only thing I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Good points. From my side, I
On the same note, if we agree to that, because I am actually like consolidating the contributing guide in the community repo and then bringing out all these information from the individual repos that we used to have. Mostly currently it's in KPM3, BMO, IRSO repo, and IPAM. So I can also put a subsection there just to make sure that the contributors are aware what's the type of policy we are taking, and maybe we can also discuss on the PR what should be the content there.
Yep.
Just as a quick note, when there are multiple commits, we should be wary of the individual descriptions of the commits, and it's quite easy to miss that with the GitHub UI. So I would say that for reviewers as well, we have to be cautious about this. Well, that every commit has a meaningful description if there are multiple ones. It's more of a UI issue with GitHub here, but that's something I've seen multiple times in other projects where you easily miss that there is one commit that is not as well described or than the others. So
yeah, this is very true, and also one of the reasons why I dislike multiple commits. Of course, we already agreed on the common sense part, and I agree with that. But technically, with this UI issue, we don't often even check the individual commits. We just check the resulting final diff. So technically, you can push million lines in the first commit and delete it in the second one, and leave just 2-line change. And when you check the diff, you see only the 2 lines. So this is actually quite annoying feature on the GitHub UI, for example. And we have seen this a couple times that there are so much trash in some commits and nobody just noticed it. And yeah, then we have maybe even binaries in the repos.
I can suggest a fix for all the issues. Maybe we should just change the default strategic merge of GitHub to consolidate all the commits basically and squash them like by default, but still configurable by a person that has this merge button. Basically can merge, right? And if someone, the author of the PR requests to have commits unsquashed, he can do it in a PR, like explicitly mentioning, please don't squash my commits because they make sense as a separate commit change. But by default, they will be squashed. And it makes sense for a reviewer also to have unsquashed commits before the merge and squashed in the tree afterwards.
I guess the issue here is the bot is doing the merging. It doesn't really care about your requests. It just executes the policy which is configured.
Yeah, but you can change that the way how you merge in the UI.
Yeah. But
in the drop button, right? So,
yeah, but but we are nobody's pushing any buttons. It's the bot who just executes the default merge.
Okay. So I guess in that case, some kind of bot magic needs to happen. In that case, to like enable the merge with split commits.
Yeah, because as you probably know, we are using ProwBot, so we just give the approve and LGTM flags, and then the bot takes it forward with all the testing and merging.
And one of the side effects of this setting in GitHub is that you get rid of the merge commits actually. And I'm not sure we want to completely get rid of the merge commits.
I guess the merge commits is age-old discussion between those who like and dislike those. So for now, I think we have them. I could totally live without them, but I know some people love them. So
No,
it is what it
my
is.
main concern is basically keeping the readability of the of the review. I don't want for people to reread the whole 1K line change because I had to change one single line of code after the review and squash it before that. It is insane. And I mean, and I understand perfectly that you in general want to have clean history. It's also, I mean, this is I want it also in all the projects I use, but the review part is quite heavy if you force the squash on the author of the review and author of the PR, sorry, and like it will take a lot of time to get something big merged.
Up and down sides here too, because yeah, for existing reviewer, it's much easier to see the diff if you have extra commits. Thank you, GitHub, for terrible UI, by the way. For a newcomer, like if I come to a patch and it has already 10 this fix up commits, it means I cannot meaningfully review commit by commit anymore. Because if I review the first commit, it has a lot of issues that have been fixed since then. But I was in the situation the other day when the patch was too large to review it in a whole, but it also had a lot of fix-up commits. So I reviewed the thing and I started leaving comment like that doesn't work. Then I see that there's a fix-up commit like 5 commits down, and it was just GitHub is terrible. I don't think we're going to work around any of its problems until they decide to fix it or AI replaces us all.
I mean, yeah, if the thing escalates, you can probably manually ask the author, okay, I reviewed all the fixes, looks fine, please squash them as is right now and like keep it as it is, and we can continue the review or maybe changes in next additional top commits, right? If that thing goes to like insane amount of commits.
Okay.
And
So
UI wise, I just want to note that when you force push, there's always this compare button in the UI that allows you to see the difference between before the force push and the after the force push. So you can usually, when you squash or rebase or whatever, see what was the actual diff before and after the rebase.
Yep. PR diff is useful. Okay, I think we are generally on the same page. The only thing where we kind of have different approaches that should we have any sort of configurability or some sort of quality of life improvement for folks who like to have multiple commits, and it also makes but then at the end have to squash it because those are not logically different, but just make the development easier. And then it's quite could be a bit taxing that for a single line change they have to again squash it or mess around. So that's the action point. Other than writing down that we follow Kubernetes general guideline, and squashing is not mandatory, but use common sense. Other than that, what we can do is look into Prow if Prow has some sort of flag, tag, label, comment, whatever, some plugin that can do automatic squashing if requested by reviewer, for example, so that the contributor does not need to squash by himself. That's what I understood, that would be bit of help that if squashing is indeed needed, then we can make it a little bit easier for the contributor.
The only concern I have regarding this, any changing the settings and those kind of things is I think someone was mentioning about meaningful Git history or Git or the commit message or those kind of things, because I think in most of those cases it will just probably consolidate or take all of the commit messages and put into one squash. So my argument is that it's just once in the life cycle of a PR that you need to probably squash, and that's just before merging. And I think that shouldn't be a big issue, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, not big issue for me, but that was my understanding that might be like problematic, but if we have to ask specifically the contributor to squash and not some automated system, but yeah, I can understand both sides. But I think we more or less, like if we use common sense and we allow people to have multiple commits when it's relevant, and we ask for squashing when it's relevant, then the history is safe. When we ask for squashing, anyways, it will be squashed. So I don't know. I might take a look into it if there is some service that we could provide to squash when we request it as reviewers and not the contributor. But I think that's all. But I think there have been good points here, and I think we can continuously improve or adjust our approach. So no need to make final decision now. But the most important thing was, I think, that we do not force squashing for our PIs. So everyone can use their common sense. Okay.
Let's continue the discussion maybe once I have the PR. I will hopefully ping people who had contributed to the discussion today. We can continue there.
Yeah, thanks, Kashif. Okay, and I think folks who gave feedback related to this, they will see the video and the discussion, and they will join, and I hope they will be happy that we didn't or that we as reviewers and contributors have acted about this question, because indeed we didn't have anything explicitly spelled out about this. Okay, so that's all about squashing. Any other comments related to this, or any other agenda points for the general agenda? Okay, if not, then let's quickly check the triaging. I did pre-triaging, so we don't have that many issues actually. I think many of these were quite straightforward. I think there are like 4 that I have not checked. There is this one, incorrect liveness probe configuration for iRig pod. Okay. I mean, this is a configurable stuff, to be honest. Or is it? How is it on IRSO? I'm not using it. Can the probe be configured by the user, or what template is used, or I don't know. So Is there anyone who is familiar with this specific probe that checks the kernel's availability?
Is that on IRSA?
Yeah, it's an ISO.
I don't think you can, I'm not sure, but for sure you can replace the whole image. I mean, you can just like say overwrite me an HTTP image, use same image, just provide the different description. Problem might also be there because not everything in overrides are available, sadly. I just hit similar problem with volume mounts basically, but in general you can probably use that.
Yeah. He said let me see that. I don't know how if I think I think I can accept this actually. If this, because okay, this is, as I understand, and this is the probe on the ironic pod. Okay, but then it is generated, the whole stuff is deployed by the IRSO. So and then I think I will put the more info because the person who reported it was not answering since early December, and then folks have reacted. So I think we just need more info that what actually is the request, that this part would be more configurable via IRSO, or what is the exact problem or goal.
From what I see, the issue is that when you disable the IPA downloader in ASO, as you can do in the with the option that is mentioned in the line of text before the so with the disabled downloader, then it still adds this the what is fetched by the IPA downloader usually, so it doesn't exist if you disable the downloader. So it's basically a bug in ASO that tries to, where the liveness probe always try to fetch something that sometimes doesn't exist in some conditions.
Yeah, that makes sense. But then on the other hand, the image is like the kernel and the init ramfs is generally expected to be in that location, or at least that is a generic location, even if you don't download. But let's say you bring it from a mount or something, we expect it to be under /images unless you are using an external like an external HTTP server outside of the ironic pod.
This kind of extension to this, maybe we have in Metal3, I mean, support for multi-arch setups, right? And right now IRSO doesn't support that natively. And when it does, probably this liveness probe also needs to be fixed. Like for kernel for ARM, right, and for AMD. So I'm guessing this needs to be configured from ironic object kind directly. So like default probe is for AMD only, and if you want to bring something new, you can just override the probe itself. So I mean, it kind of makes sense to have this configurable.
Well, either configurable or just we could add health file on ironic image side, so that we always have something that we be here, even if IPA downloader is not configured. This way we can have something that always works, and we don't need to worry whether we have multi-arch or not or anything.
Yeah, if that's okay for you folks, I would first push for making it configurable, because we don't know how many different use cases are. You mentioned the multi-arch, but as I said, there could be random places where the kernel and these things are hosted, and we might want to check that with the probe, or someone might have a use case where a completely different probe is needed for whatever reason. I don't know. People use this ironic for all kinds of things, or in all kinds of config.
Yeah, I support the configurable option also, because I'm also disabling the default downloader and doing my custom downloader, because I'm shipping custom IPA image. So I would like to have that also configurable. I didn't get to it yet, checking the liveliness probe, because I'm just downloading in the same place. But when we ship cross-arch support in ERSO, that would be a problem. Definitely.
Looks like Adam got some connection issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Adam just messaged me his laptop died. So I mean, I'm not sure if there is a point of continuing this. Yeah, I haven't done the triaging. I haven't read it, so probably we can just, like, we already covered the discussion topics, and then we can do the triage next time. It's all right. Unless if someone have an issue, so we can open that and discuss it here. Otherwise, I would suggest that we can close it.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Sorry for that. Seems like no hot issues that needs to be discussed here. So we can continue next week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you next week.
Thanks. Bye.
See you next week. Bye.